What is up, Nerf Nation? I'm Naptown Nerf, and today we are going to review and take a look at this new product from Worker. This is a priming handle for your Kronos that you will install into the back here, but it does require some cutting to the shell, so we will have to do a little work to this guy here. But both NF Strike and WorkerKit.com sent me these, so I kind of feel bad that they both sent me the same product, but I will do a full review and installation guide for this, for both of them. We're going to go ahead and install this into our Kronos and see how well it works. Alright, went ahead and removed the screws and took off that half of the shell, and we'll go ahead and pull out these guys here. And we'll go ahead and take this part out here and remove this, put that away. This I think we're gonna lose because that's where our handle's gonna go. Went ahead and primed. I always prime my Kronos before opening it because it just allows everything to stay contained in here, which is really cool about this blaster. Most blasters, I can't think of another one that you could do this with and it would be a good thing to do before opening, but this one, it does really help things from flying everywhere. So we'll go ahead and push this up, release that, and put this out of the way for now. Take a look at this here, and this is where this is going to go, right there, I believe. This will require some cutting in here, and they don't really tell you how to do that. I didn't get any directions with this. This is one thing I kind of have a problem with when there's cutting involved, or an installation process that's not normal. There probably should be some directions that come with that product, or a template would be really nice. That would really all you'd need. I mean, it's pretty obvious what you need to do here if you're a modder, but some directions would still be useful. But a template would be nice, so you could just trace out the whatever you needed to cut out, and then obviously then it would be very clean. I do have some calipers here, which is a very handy tool. Make sure they're zeroed out here. Looks like 3/8 of an inch sideways, and then top to bottom it will be hopefully the same. They're smart. Yep. So 3/8 of an inch that way also. Alright, to help me out, I'm going to try to mark the top and bottom the best I can right here. And that will tell me right where they need to be, hopefully. So that's pretty good. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. That is really, really tight, which I guess is good. We'll do the same on this side. Alright, so I've marked the top and bottom, which is good. So we want to take half of 3/8 here, which will be 3/16. Here we go. And I have a little score thing here. Well, let's see if I can do it this way. This way I can kind of score. So I kind of just did a score line with my things here, or you can just kind of measure it out. 3/16, which is half of 3/8. Try to go ahead and mark that. Alright, so I've given myself a little rough outline of kind of what it needs to be. Now this is kind of like a hexagon in here, but I think if we go ahead and make a square, we're going to be okay. And then I'll probably won't go all the way to the corner. I'll probably just kind of round the corners just a tad. But we'll go ahead and start with that and see how we do here. I might try to cut this actually with an X-Acto blade, because I feel that'll give me a little more control. You could also use a Dremel. Okay, so I went ahead and carved that out. I got it pretty much where I want it this way. I'm not sure if the depth is quite enough yet or not, but I'm going to stop there and go ahead and start on the other side and see how well it goes in once I get both to this point. Alright, so that's looking pretty good, but obviously I still need to take a little bit more off the sides here. And instead of doing that with an X-Acto blade now, I think I'm going to do it with some hand files. And this is very similar to the process I use when putting a voltmeter in a blaster. You kind of start by maybe cutting it out with a Dremel, then I go to an X-Acto blade usually to get it a little bit closer and to get a little cleaner cut. And then I go with a hand file to get it perfect. So I think we're there now, so I'll go ahead and pull this apart and do the rest with the hand file. Alright, you guys, so went ahead and got that to a really good point, and it should fit this perfectly now. Basically, after I just cut out the rough outline with the X-Acto blade to get it pretty darn close, I went ahead and went in with a flat little file here and really tried to straighten up those edges, get them just the right size. And then I went in with the corners with this like rounded file just to kind of round the corners, because like I said, this is like a hexagon shape, so you don't have to get the corners perfect, which is nice. But if it's a little bit too big, it doesn't have to be like a perfect hexagon shape, because that would be really hard to do. The outside of this is going to cover it up. Whoa! Unless you obviously get to a point where it's too much, and then it won't. But this is a good place. You just kind of have to just trial and error and test it out and keep going. Try to make the sides obviously even, and we'll go ahead and throw this in here and I'll show you how it looks. There we go. And that's how it should look when it's done. Very, very clean, very nice, and should be a really nice strong pull. If I did not mention, this is metal. It's very, very durable. It is a great feeling pull. It's really, really nice. So it is not plastic. This is a metal piece. Let's go ahead and put the blaster back together. I'll go ahead and even put a stronger spring in the blaster. I haven't done any modifications to this, but I'll go ahead and throw a stronger spring in just to give this its full test, because obviously a stock spring isn't going to test it too much. So we'll do that, and we can go ahead and leave that in there and just go ahead and assemble it back up. Alright, so when you're putting in a spring like this, you have to compress it in before putting in your blaster. This is complete full compression with that. This is actually a 14 kg NF Strike long shot spring, and that is a tight fit. I haven't actually shot this with this spring in it because it's probably too powerful for rival rounds. It's better if you convert this to darts, but we will try this out because that will give it a really good test. So we'll put that in there. Put this guy back in. So hopefully that part can still stay in there. The depriming lever, obviously we're losing because we are putting this right where that used to be. We will go ahead and put our little dust cover pieces back in. That's what I want to call it, or gap cover pieces. And people seem to still have trouble figuring out how these go back together. Basically, you want to have them one on top of the other so they slide like this. Just like that. Well, there we go, like that. And this angle should be going like that, along the same, obviously, shape of the blaster. And then you can just put them right in here, right in there, and then you're good to go. We'll go ahead and put this half the shell back in now. Looks good. We'll go ahead and lock that down here because there's a hidden screw right here that has to be locked in before we put the other, but I just go ahead and lock all this down before we put the slide back on. If you forgot, the 2 long screws go at the end of the grip here. Go ahead and put our other piece of the slide back on here. Teaser in there. So the teeny tiny screws are the ones that go in the slide here, and on the other side there is a shorter screw than all the others, but it looks the same. It's just a little shorter. That one goes right here on the top of the tactical rail. Then we have 2 normal size that go in the back here. And then our teeny guys here. One there. Flip it over. One goes in here. Alright. Should be good. I'm going to go ahead and fire this because it's primed. Here we go. We'll go ahead and try to prime it here real quick. Prime's just fine. Push it forward. There we go. That is it installed. Looks awesome. Really cool looking. If you like this prime style, I think this is a great option if you don't mind doing a little modification. The only real downside I see to this is, besides the trouble having to cut the shell, you do lose that de-priming button that will allow you to prime your blaster again when you have a jam. It'll allow you to pull this back if it gets caught. You can push that down, and it's kind of a safety, which is nice to have if you have an issue. I mean, I'd have to play around with this quite a bit and see how it does without having to have that, but it does look pretty cool. The black metal really looks nice with the you know, the Phantom Core, or pretty much any of the rival it should go with. Even the new red and blue ones it has with the black grip, you know, it's still going to look pretty darn good. So yeah, if you like this style, I think this could be better for a lot of people. It's a lot easier to prime than even the 3D printed grips up here. I don't like the look of it quite as well, but I'd probably put this on something that would, if I converted this to shoot darts, I think I'd prefer this. But, you know, it's a very, very nice piece. And thank you, NF Strike and Worker Kit, for sending me these. I hope you enjoyed the installation guide. I hope it was helpful. If it was, smash that like button. Please subscribe. And as always, guys, peace out.